Welcome to the podcast, She is Fab, where we discuss all things fab, women empowerment, and life coaching. My name is Evelyn, also known as the Fab Chieftess, and I am a mindset transformation coach. Welcome to another episode of the She is Fab podcast. My name is Evelyn, mindset transformation coach, and your host. Today, I am joined by Dusya Lyubovskaya. She combines modern medicine and holistic medicine in her work as a life coach. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Evelyn.
You are welcome. Tell me a little more about what you do.
Sure. So as a holistic life coach, I implement coaching and counseling in my holistic work and modern medicine. And so what happens is that I get people reach out to me, whether it's health issues or struggling with relationships, like if they lost contact with their family members or friends, and they're struggling because they're like, why is this happening? What did I do wrong? Or help me figure out how we can reconnect. Or if they're having health issues that they are thinking, okay, I went to this doctor or to this nurse and something isn't right. And so they come to me and ask me, okay, what's going on? And so I listen to their story, and mostly what happens, they don't really know at first what exactly to talk about. So I say, you know what, just share whatever comes to your mind, whatever feels like this, I have to really talk about this. And so I just listen to them, listen to their story, and at the end I ask them clarifying questions. And it often happens that when I talk to somebody, I say, okay, I see where this is coming from. And then I ask them clarifying question like, what was your relationship with your family? Like, what was the going on when you were growing up? And then they will say, oh yeah, this and this happened. And in one situation I had with a client, I would say, okay, what was your relationship with your mother or with your father or whoever wasn't there? And they said, oh, it was not so great, but oh well, I mean, it happened, life happens. And I mean, it's normal to say that. However, I noticed that anything that affects you long time ago, anything that has happened to you, even if you say, you know what, it doesn't bother me, life goes on, but your body is responding to it. Your body's responding to it. It can be anything from allergies to chronic health issues to traumatic events. And so I said, okay, I have the sense that it's possible that although you think it's okay, but your body is not agreeing with you. Like your body is saying, okay, you're saying this everything fine, but I don't feel fine. I have a problem. And so I go to this, I offer them like consultation about different modalities that I do, like Reiki, angel healing, different forms of Reiki. And I have to say, after at least the first session, there's already results. There's already something that I get a call or text message, and they say, we started talking again. Like, yay, great. Like
That's
someone said, like,
awesome.
yeah, like their mother will talk to them again, or some other session. They say, what did you do? Like, I was just helping you. I was just getting to the bottom, like getting to the root of the cause. Like when you go to a doctor and you say you have this, I don't know, whatever pain you have. Of course, I mean, it's normal to prescribe a medication, but I prefer to say, okay, where did it start? Like, okay, you've been taking this medication for, let's say, a month, and how's it going? It could be better. Okay, let's get to the cause of it. And obviously, the cause is something from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's it's I don't want to say ridiculous, but it's just crazy how our past life issues, like past trauma, even we don't look at it as trauma, but it can affect you even today.
Right, I agree. So you help your clients in two different ways, and sometimes that can be a combination. One is reconnecting, right, with the relationships that they have that they've lost touch with, and the second one is the holistic medicine path, where you're looking at where they're experiencing pain and then exploring that deeper or more deeply to understand the root cause.
Absolutely, yes.
And then you said that in your coaching, you use additional methods like Reiki, and there were a couple others you mentioned. Sorry, they kind of just
Oh, that's okay.
went.
Oh, I didn't even notice it. Yeah, so look, I use Reiki, angel healing. There's some other modalities I use that are like an umbrella. Like Reiki is an umbrella for different healing modalities, and so I just combine different modalities, like different kinds of session. Like there's the mirror strategy I use. It just really varies on the situation, on every individual, like what they need to improve their life. It can be really anything. Sometimes it's like self-esteem issues, and even though I don't discover it at the moment when I'm talking to them. But like, for example, I had a client who had, I'm just going to say, she had a traumatic event 3 years ago, and she had serious issues like having healthy meals, and she didn't feel good in her body. She just like, she thought she was ugly, and unfortunately she had a boyfriend who was not very supportive. And so I just listened to her, and then I did with her the mirror strategy, where she would like go to the mirror and I would guide her with the process and what to say. Like when you're saying to yourself, I feel fantastic, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when you go to the mirror, it's like you're talking to this person, and and in your brain, it's like a switch, and it feels like someone is telling you that. The effects are amazing. And what can I say? The next day, I got another message, and she said she had the first time in 3 years she had breakfast. Like, wow.
Wow, that's amazing that you get results so quickly. And you know, for those of you guys that are listening or watching, a lot of times coaches are going to ask you to do something or start a practice, and some of that might seem a little silly or more common sense, or like it might not work. But when you actually put it into action, it does provide a result. We're not telling you this just because. It's because there's an outcome.
Yes, absolutely. I'm seriously, I'm even amazed about it. Like I can imagine, like sometimes I have clients who I do crystal healing sessions on, and some clients it takes after a week to improve. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. After a week, like whatever is going on in their mindset and whatever going on in their life, so it takes time for them, like for their mind and body to say, okay, this is what's happening. And then there's other clients who right the next day I hear, did you do like any session that I was doing on them? I said, yes. I said, thank you, great. Like, oh my gosh, whatever happened to them? Like, sometimes I'm happy to hear what happened. Sometimes like, yes, the life is improving.
That is so great. So tell me, did you always knew you wanted to be a life coach, or did you transition from another profession?
I transitioned, to be honest, yes. In the beginning of my, let's say my teenage years, I was debating if I wanted to be a scientist, I wanted to be a doctor. I had these different ideas, and I loved science in school. And I thought, okay, I want to work in a laboratory. Then some issues happened in my family, and I heard stories, and I thought, I actually want to become a doctor. So it kind of changed. However, when I was 18 years old, there was then another, let's say, dramatic turn in my life. And my father got very sick, and I realized, okay, I have to be now the adult. I have to now take care of my family. And so I was able to get a job as a nursing aide, so I could provide for my family and be in the medical field. And I thought, okay, I want to go to college, but it's not going to happen now. So at least I'm in the medical field. And so I was working in the medical field for a few years, and while taking care of my late father. And yeah, it just kept developing. And later, after his passing, I was still working, and I was trying to figure out, who am I actually as a person? Like, my father was gone, and I'm taking care of my mother, and that I have to, maybe the medical field is now not for me. I don't know. I was just like, who am I as a person? What am I looking for? And for a mini period in my life, I was doing something completely different, not related to medicine. It was more like hospitality related. And it was okay, but my heart was not really with it. I loved talking to the people. I loved being helpful when they needed something, but it was just not me. And then I got training, official training. I was able to do again patient care, and oh my gosh, that was just I guess I could breathe again. Like this, like the medical field, being in the hospital or anywhere where it's related to helping patients, being there for patients to just provide medical support. That's I was back home, and I just kept working in the medical field. And I don't know. Then something happened with my mother. Then later on, and also going back when I was growing up, I learned a lot about herbal medicine and about holistic modalities from my mother's side of the family. Like I would hear from my mother stories about somebody like she was sick or something happened, and my grandmother would talk to her godmother or somebody and say, "What can I do for my daughter? Like how can I help her?" And it was not always medical advice. It was more like holistic advice that my mother received, and I just grew up with that knowledge and thinking, "Oh, so there is actually this other side." And while I was working in the medical field, there were often times where I thought, okay, they are getting this particular, how should I put this, treatment option, but there's something missing. Like it's not getting the results that they need. And I realized I wasn't really able to say, I think we need more than medicine because I know people would like, what are you talking about? This is medicine. What does he need? And I just had to be like, okay, well, I have to accept that whatever this is. I can think it, but I can't really help them, or I can do what I can. And then my mother got sick in 2014. And that was the time where I realized, okay, at least for my mother, I want to be able to do what I wasn't able to do for for my clients, for my patients. And so I did on her. She was terminally ill, and the doctors gave her just 3 months to live at most.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she they said she was going to die, and I just decided I'm going to do for her what I wasn't able to do for other patients. And before I even knew what Reiki was, I was doing Reiki on my mother. And after that, she had less pain. And I actually used my intuition, to be honest. I decided, okay, I'm just going to put my hands on her head. And somehow I knew what I was doing, although I didn't really know what I was doing at the same time. And after that, she had less pain, and she was able to live longer and enjoy a little bit of being with me. And to me, that was priceless, honestly. There was a time when she transitioned, and I was prepared for that. We were both prepared for that, for lack of better wording. And I don't know, something that awoke something in me. I can't even really explain what. And then I met people who were doing Reiki and other and similar modalities, and I just felt so much at home. And I was thinking, I need to be around these kind of people. I don't know what they're doing, but I need to be around them. And then I
That's
discovered a school.
amazing.
Yeah, then I discovered the school in Boston, near where I was living, and I started. It was on Facebook actually. I found them, and although they were just offering meditations, but something just clicked with me. I thought I have to go there. And ever since I was doing meditation, answers all these any questions I had about life, about the medical world, they were all answered every time I was going there. And at some point, my guide said, I want you to get trained in Reiki. And I thought, what? And he said, and then he just kept talking. And I said, okay. And it was honestly the best advice. That was the best thing I ever did. I did Reiki. I got trained in Reiki and in-person Reiki and remote Reiki. And I was trying to implement that skill set in my medical field, but that wasn't really possible. And I started being depressed. And a year went on, 2 years went on, and I just kept feeling like something is wrong. Like there was no balance in my life. And in 2016 approximately, I realized, okay, I can't do this anymore. The Reiki is where I belong. And I stopped that, and I continued, then I went back to school as well, went back to college. I started getting training. I became trained as a medical assistant, and I continued my education in the medical field, which I still am doing. At the same time, I started doing more Reiki, and I was able to breathe again. I just felt fantastic. I had clients even at first I was just volunteering, and the people would say, what are you doing? Like, I'm just helping you with Reiki. And I just felt so much motivation. I just felt so uplifted. And I realized this is who I am. This is my purpose in life, so to speak.
Yes.
And I just kept learning more and started offering Reiki on Facebook and certain groups. And at some point I realized I should have a practice, because there's so many people who are improving their health, whether it's toothache or like when they say, I have an appointment next week to the dentist, but I'm in severe pain. Can you help me? And I just send them Reiki remotely, and they feel better, and the pain is
Wow.
less. And it's just like, this is who I am. And then I realized I can use my medical knowledge to help these people as well. Like, if they are going through some kind of medical issue, I can instantly tell, okay, this is what's going on with them. And I can tell them, okay, this is what your doctor said, your nurse, and I understand what they're saying. This is the diagnosis they gave you. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, and this is what I recommend to you. And and some of them say, well, okay, but I'm on medication. And I mean, I'm never ever going to say, stop taking your medication. No, like hell no. No, the medication, it only does so much. Like, every medication has side effects. Holistic modalities, they go further where medicine doesn't. Like, the medicine, like, I mean, I don't know, then I can try like a visual explanation, like whatever. I even use essential oils in my practice. But the thing is, medication, it's like they only touch like the bubble. Like, imagine a bubble in your, like just imagine looking at your hand and you see like a little ball, and this ball is the illness, whatever it is. So the medication, it's like a blanket over the ball, but it doesn't really go inside of it. But the Reiki, it comes from source, it comes from the universe, and it goes directly inside like an injection. And I know injection people are scared of that, but you don't even feel it. You just feel warm. You feel like you're either you're sunbathing, or like you're getting a warm hug. That's basically how you feel, whether it's in person or remote. And even that,
Yes.
it gets funny, because I remember like at least 2 times I had a client remote, and they say, I could swear you were right in front of me. Like, no, I'm right here and wherever
That's
you are.
great feedback because,
Yeah.
obviously as life coaches, it's a lot easier when you have that face-to-face interaction. So to be able to still give that sense when you're not in the same location, not face-to-face, that's amazing. And something else, for those of you that are listening out there or watching on YouTube, um, many coaches talk about what was their catalyst or what brought them to the field or niche that they're in. So it's always pleasant for me to hear the passion that coaches put forth when they explain that feeling of, being misaligned and then finding this thing that they wanted to share that brings them joy. So I'm so glad that you had that happen for you.
Yes, I'm still grateful. There were days I have to say, in the past 2 years, sometimes I would wonder, why didn't I try this before? Why didn't I try this? Let's say, I mean, I'm now 40, almost 40. Although I don't look like it, but I am almost 40. And in my younger years, I wondered, why didn't I think of it before? And then at the same time, it's like I'm getting this voice or something saying, well, you were not ready yet. You didn't have the resource. You were not able to reach out to the people who could say, try this, Dusya, or try this. I didn't have that.
Yeah, but you know what? Everything has a time and a place. And obviously, we wish we could look back at our younger selves and say, hey, you should do this. But the past is the past for a reason. And all we can do is work what we have in the present, right? But I'm so happy to hear that you are still able to work with your clients, that you're still finding alignment in what you do, and that you're getting the results that you want. Something else that you mentioned that I find interesting, you have this medical background, which helps you with communicating and understanding what the doctor is recommending to the patient, whether it's a process or medication that is involved. Do you ever advise your client to go back to the doctor and alter something with what they've recommended?
I rarely do that. No, like if I first my best strategy is I ask the patient or the client in this case what the doctor recommends, and I use my intuition and my own background knowledge. Like, okay, when I listen to a story and I say, wait a minute, I remember a client having such a problem. I remember another patient having this problem, and I would never. But however, I would never tell your doctor to da 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 da. I never do that. No, I say, okay, your doctor can have. Okay, I respect your doctor's opinion. I recommend that as an add-on to your treatment, what I suggest, and I want the client to be the one to say, doctor, I think I need now a less dosage because I feel better with the less dosage, or I want
Gotcha.
them to be able to think more independently because, I know it's happened a lot. I've seen this a lot. You go to a doctor or your nurse and say, okay, doctor, yes, if you say I should do that, okay, I'll do that. I mean, I'm not mocking, but it just because you don't know what you don't know. But and I want them to get to the point with my Reiki as well. I want them to be able to make informed decisions and say, you know what, I thought about this. What would happen if I lessen my dosage? I want them to get to that point without me telling them. I mean, they can ask me for my opinion, and I can say, it sounds like it, but it's about how you feel. I'm not you. This is your body, your decision. I want you to say, because I even tell you, you know what? I mean, I could be even wrong. I could be saying, no, you don't need that. And I want them to say, excuse me, but all with due respect, I think I know my body better. I want them to be able to say that.
That's a key takeaway there, right? So
Hmm.
Dusya isn't, going against doctor recommendations. She is helping with her practice to add on top of those recommendations. And then obviously based on how that goes, how you feel, you as the patient can then go back and talk to your doctor about alternate methods.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's great. So, in terms of working with your clients,
Hmm.
is there like a minimum amount of sessions? I know you have your consultation or discovery call that you conduct, but is there like a program or a minimum amount that you recommend to your clients?
I recommend generally to my clients, no matter what the sessions are, I recommend them 3 sessions. So I know that a lot of coaches do programs. The thing is, I was thinking about doing programs, but it feels very limited. Like when I have a client and I listen to them, I have the sense that if I tell them, okay, this program you're going to complete in 3 months, and when the 3 months is done, they're going to think, did I improve at all? Like, am I okay? Is something wrong with me? If something is not, and I don't want them to even feel that way. I would say after like 3 sessions, I would say I have the sense that your life is really improving, and I also suggested them journal, write your experiences down, like if you do a diary or something. When you're not with me, like when you're not having a session, I mean, you can ask me questions in between appointments, but write down and then look back at it and say, "Hey, I think I improved in this part, or this is getting better in my life." And I want us
I
to be able
love
to say
that.
together, you know what? I think you're good now. You're fine. I mean, you're welcome to come back for consultation. You're welcome to just check in and say, hey, I'm doing this. But I want them to say, you know what? I'm good now. I feel good about myself. Everything is in alignment, quote unquote.
That is so great. I get really excited when I hear other coaches talk about journaling because I am big on journaling. Even
Hmm.
before I became a coach, journaling has been my thing since childhood. It's just a way that I find to be introspective, right? I can look back on things that I wrote as a child and be like, my mind was definitely in a different state, or, laugh at some of the situations, but also see patterns and growth and development. So I always recommend people to journal, whether you're working with a coach or without. It is such a healthy and important practice.
Indeed. Yes, I love it. I just love it even when I hear from my clients. Even when I don't ask them, they just message me and say, "Hey, Dusya, I just realized I was reading my journal." Like, yes, thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you.
You're like, and I have to tell you, you did it on your own.
Yes.
I love that. So, what would you say are some of the top things or top outcomes that your clients can expect from working with you?
There's different, depends on your situation. It can be from reconnecting with family, when the doctors say it's not healthy for, like reconnecting with your family when you think that there's no way in life that you can reconnect with them because of some health issues or and whatnot. Another one is reconnecting with a parent after, where the parent suddenly is, realizes that there was friction and they want to resolve the friction, or someone has relationship problems, and then I get a phone call or text message, my partner came back, like just right after this, or just someone feeling good about themselves and not feeling ashamed to eat because they were bulimic because of something that happened to them. Just so many different, or um, or having relief from chronic migraine even happens. Like I had a client who, she was in her early 50s and she had migraine for years, and she said, "I'm going to go to a doctor to find out what's going on. I don't know what you did, but it's gone." Like I just like there's so many different results, whether it's reconnecting with family, uh, physical ailments, you have relief from physical ailments, or it disappears. It's just so many different. PTSD
Are
gets
there
less. Yeah, it's just the
are
list
there
goes on and
any
on.
are there any common threads that you see with the clients that come to you? Like, are there certain issues that you find you're working on more so than others?
Yes, I unexpectedly started working with two kinds of clients. The one that have skin issues or chronic health issues, as I prefer to say, chronic health issues that are, it could be any kind of chronic health problem. And I noticed that many of them have chronic health issues that are caused by trauma and can be from anything that happened 10 years ago to in their childhood. And I work with them. I get to the root, to the cause. I just talk them through it and figure out what happened in their childhood, and then do the Reiki and whatnot. And it and the symptoms, they are vanishing. Then they feel better. The whatever medication or whatever they were using, it even their everything improves in their life. Everything improves in their life. Seriously, everything. And the trauma, and they just realize, oh yeah, this is what happened to me. This is what was going on. I totally, like they will say, I totally forgot about that. Or, oh my God, that really affected me. Yes, it did. Yes, it's your body saying, I need help. Like, come on. And the other case I work with is parents who have kids on the autism spectrum. The thing is, what I do is I know this sounds maybe silly, but I look at myself as like a baby whisperer, because I observe children a lot. It's just how I am, and I noticed how children behave when they are feeling uncomfortable, or they want to say no, or when they're happy, or when they're not feeling good in their body. I've noticed what happens to them, especially when they're autistic. And I know that many of their behaviors looks really scary, and people are like, what's going on here? Oh my God, what is he or she do? What are they doing? Yuck. And they try to get like some kind of therapist to work with them. And I was looking at some videos on how some treatments work, and I was looking at, oh my gosh, that little boy, he's crying, he's overwhelmed, he's exhausted. And so I help parents to see, okay, when you like look at your kid, like how, like just observe your kid, get to know your kid. And I know that a lot of parents want like they would, like they want their kid to say, I'm hurt, or I am, or I'm scared. But some of these kids, they're not able to communicate that. What they do is they harm themselves, unfortunately, or they do something that really scares you. And when they do something that really scares you, it actually is their way of saying, I'm not feeling well, or I'm not comfortable, like something, I'm sick, I need to see a doctor. That's their way of communicating. And I try to coach my clients by saying, just observe them, just see, okay, do you know how did your kid react when they're happy? How did they react when they're really sad? Or how did they react when they don't like something? And sometimes it's a process, because they say, well, they didn't say, well, my son or my daughter, they didn't say that they're hungry. Well, okay, you know what, children, when they don't like something, they like just like make this face like ew face, or they just push the plate away like, duh, that's obviously they don't want to eat it, or when they're like scratching their hands or arms or something, that means that something is wrong. They need medical attention. And
So do you work directly though with the kids, or is it just the parents?
I can work with both. Honestly, I observe the kids. And the parents expect me to talk to the children. I do that. However, I also pay attention to how the kid responds. If the kid is not paying attention to me, I still know that the kid is listening, because some kids don't do eye contact when they're autistic, and that's totally fine with me. I know that they are responding by when I say draw something. Like I can just say, or if they don't understand verbal language, I'm just gonna, like, when they're drawing something and maybe they don't know what that means drawing, I just draw with them. I just do something that they're doing, like mimicking them, and they're like, "Who is that? What is she doing?" Like this children, they need excitement. They need something, like somebody to I don't want to use the wrong word. Just somebody that gets their attention. Somebody who's like, they're doing what I'm doing, huh? What's going on here? And that just calms them. And when they're having meltdown, or like when kids, they're what looks like a temper tantrum, they're like stomping or on the floor. It's because they're not feeling comfortable. Like they're overwhelmed by whatever they're experiencing, and just sit with them. Just sit with them, and even if they're not responding, they can sense that you're there, and either they will hug you or they will just feel calm. Or it's as long as you're calm, they're gonna be calm, because they react. If you're agitated, or you're gonna be like, I'm not safe here. Like that's just how they respond. They mimic your behavior, and just follow that. Just
Right.
observe them.
They're
And
picking up that energy that you're sort of putting out there.
exactly, yeah, they're so sensitive to energy. They're so sensitive, and I had like two occasions where a kid actually suddenly said love or mama or or I don't remember the words, and I said, you respond with love. You don't say, "What's wrong with you? Why are you not talking to me?" That's not gonna work. But if you just be there for them, responding with love, they respond with love back. Like that's the
So
way of
you,
saying thank you for understanding me.
so you work with women, men, and children. So you have
Hmm.
all three audiences.
Yes.
I might know the answer to this, but what do you think? Which one is more difficult to work with?
I don't know if difficult is the right word. I actually, every time when I have a new client or something new, I'm thinking most like interesting. What's going on here? That's mostly
Okay.
like, yeah. Like, I don't know many of people who listen or going to watch this know the show Columbo, Inspector Columbo. I think I have the same mentality. He doesn't think what's the most difficult. He's like, huh, interesting. What is going on here? That's basically how I view every situation. And
I love it. So it's a
yeah,
positive reframing. You're like, it's not difficult. It's interesting, or it could be a challenge. And, obviously challenges help you to grow and develop.
exactly. And just go to the process with the clients and share them what I'm observing. Because sometimes I'm gonna say, I know it's X, Y, and Z. Like, oh, really? Yeah, and it's yeah, just look at it, just see what happened. Like, oh, I didn't even realize that. Like, that's the reaction I get sometimes. Like, there you go.
A lot of positive reactions your way.
Hmm.
That's really great. So, Dusya, is there anything else that you want to share with the audience that I might not have asked you regarding your coaching or your practice?
Yes. So when I get people reaching out to me, whether because they saw my live somewhere or they just saw my name and they're thinking, I need her help, but I didn't, how should I put this? Like, I have people reaching out to me and they are often afraid to talk about their lives because they're afraid of, like, oh, you grew up in that place, oh, your mom did that, or oh, you did what? I don't do that because I mean, there's so many things that can happen to you. I'm not going to say, did you seriously do that? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to listen to you. I'm just going to listen to the person and say, okay, I get it. I mean, even if you did something bad, what you think is bad, it's not because you're a horrible person. We all have good and bad in us, but sometimes you do things because you don't see another way around it. And I want them to know I don't judge. No matter what you tell, even if you tell me you're on drugs, okay, I'm going to listen because there's always a story to why somebody does something. Always.
Yeah, that's a great message for those of you that are listening or watching, especially if you're thinking of working with a coach or you've considered it and you're not quite sure. There is no judgment. The role of a coach is to help you and guide you. So whatever you bring to your coach is with the knowledge that there's no judgment. It's just openness to understand where you are, where you've been, and where you want to go.
Yeah. You couldn't have said it better.
That is really great, Dusya. I'm so happy that you came on today and you shared what you do, what led you to do what you do, and how you help your clients as well as who you work with.
It was my pleasure.
All right. Any last words to the audience before I let you go?
I'm looking forward to meet you all, whoever you are, and I love you even though I don't know you yet, but I love you just because it's you. Thank you.
Yeah, sending out love and positivity. All right, guys, as usual, we're going to put all the information for how to contact, how to find, follow, connect with Dusya. That way you can check out her services and talk to her to see if it's a good fit for you. And like I always say, preparation, accountability, execution, and resolve are keys to your success. Until next time.